गौरवाणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। वेलकम ऑल ऑफ यू। So we completed our Sambhuti and Asambhuti topic. So till now we have studied Ishavashamidam Sarvam, then the now understanding the different qualities of Krishna, and then we also studied about the Vidya and Avidya. Then further we studied about Sambhuti and Asambhuti. So knowing about Sambhuti, Asambhuti, and then further we also saw that result of Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Then there are nice prayers which are offered here to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yes, Puji, Hare Krishna. So there are prayers offered now after knowing the Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Sambhuti is the supreme absolute truth who is independent, and Asambhuti are the one who are not independent. They are under the dependence of Krishna. So after worshipping, after understanding the result of the worship, and the more knowledge about Sambhuti and Asambhuti, we will be seeing the nice prayers which are offered in this verse number 15 to 18. So let's see the interesting prayers. The first prayer, the prayer number, the mantra number 15, an appeal to see the Lord. So everybody has this desire that they should be able to see the Lord. And then that's why a devotee makes an appeal. Oh Lord, please give your beautiful darshan. And then that beautiful darshan appeal is revealed here. Just put the screen. Oh, we studied verse number 15. We have to study this. We have to go to verse number 16. We saw the effulgence, beautiful face of the Lord, which is covered with the effulgence. We are studying last three verses today. So we are begging for God's mercy. In the verse number 16 is a begging for God's mercy. Mantra 16. Ushane ekar yamasar surya prajapata prajapatapya rashmin samoha tejo yakte rupam kalyanatmam tatte pashyami yosa vaso purusha sohamasmi. So here this particular prayer is talking for the begging for Krishna's mercy, begging for God's mercy. O my Lord, O primeval philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulating principle, destination of a pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitors of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal Supreme Person of Godhead, like unto the sun as I am. So here, the Pushanam is the word. Pushana is the portion, one who is the maintainer. Pushana is the maintainer. Then there is Ekaresha. That is this Ekarsha is a primeval philosopher. Then Yama, the regulative principle. Yeah, we see in the Ashtanga Yoga there is Yama and Niyama. So Yama is the regulative principle, do's and don'ts. This is do's. Then there is Surya, the destination of the Sauryas, the Sauris. And then there is Prajapata, or well-wisher of the progenitor of mankind. So these are the different, glorification, or these are the different adjectives which are used for Krishna. That is, O maintainer, O primeval philosopher, O you are the regulative principles, you are the destination for Suris, that Surya. And then there is Prajapata, you are the well-wisher of all the Prajapatis. What is the request? What is the prayer? Please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your most auspicious form of bliss. Satchidananda Vigraha. So Ananda is the terminology which is picked up from here. That that beautiful, blissful form of yours. Let me say it. So Krishna is always blissful. Krishna is that God. He's not in anxiety, worried, or so frustrated. And he's always blissful. You don't find any photo of Krishna, even if he's crying and your mother Yashoda is punishing him, still he appears to be very blissful. So that is the speciality of Krishna. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittivanti pashyanti panti sarayanti kiranti. So that this particular verse from Brahma Samhita explains us that he can perform any activity from his different angas. So even if he is appearing to be crying, he is blissful, or he makes everything blissful. In fact, one of the name of Krishna is Rama. Rama is all pleasure giver. One who gives pleasure to everyone. All pleasurable Lord is Rama. So that all pleasurable Lord, that beautiful form of Krishna, which is full of bliss. Please give me darshan of that blissful form by removing the effulgence of your transcendental rays. So once that effulgence is away from our vision, then we can surely see the beautiful form of Lord. You are the eternal Lord. I'm also a spiritual in nature, just as the sun and its rays are same qualitatively. So here this example, analogy, which is very famous analogy of Isopanisad is explained here. The analogy of a sun and sun rays. So there is sun rays, then there is sun globe, and there is a personality named sun. That is Brahma, Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman realization. Brahman realization is the effulgence coming out of sun. The globe is like a Paramatma, and the personality named Sun God is the Bhagavan aspect. And then the rays which are coming out from that personality are nothing but the spirit soul, the spirit which is spiritual in nature, which is they have some energy into it. So there is sun god, there is sun globe, then there is sunshine, and then there is sun rays. So this particular analogy is explained here. Here the prayer is, I can see your form with the flesh. You are the eternal Supreme Personality of Godhead, like unto the sun. So you are that Supreme Personality of Godhead unto the sun, as I am. So I am the rays, and that's qualitatively same as you. That is a prayer which is offered here. So this is begging for a vision, begging for a beautiful form, begging for a blissful darshan of Krishna. And then this can also be titled as begging for mercy. So mercy is a very important factor in our practice of Krishna consciousness, or to live the life even in this material world. Mercy is very much required. And mercy of whose? Mercy of a Supreme Personality of Godhead is very much required. There is this shloka which comes in Bhagavad Gita, Prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rastu pajayate prasanna chetana hasu. This prasad is translated, prasad is the Sanskrit word which is also translated as mercy. So the mercy of Supreme Lord is very much required. If there is a mercy of Krishna, then what will happen is, Prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rastu pajayate. By this mercy, all the miseries of my life will be completely eradicated. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, all the miseries of your life will be completely eradicated. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanir astupajayate. All the miseries of your life will be completely eradicated. And what will you attain? Prasanna chetana hasuk, that you will attain a very blissful consciousness. Prasanna Chetana Hasu, Buddhi Parivitashtite. Because this is the explanation of Sthita Pragya in second chapter, verse number 65, this sloka which I am quoting. So Sthita Pragya is that personality whose knowledge is fixed, whose jnana is fixed, whose vidya is fixed. So the person with the fixed knowledge, the person who is well established, Buddhi, his Buddhi will also be completely fixed if he receives a mercy. And the previous verse also talks about mercy. It says, Raga Desho Vimukteshu Vishayan in Vishayan Indriyan Sharan Atma Vaishya Vidhiratma Prasadam Adhigachati. So this word Prasadam Adhigachati is also very significant here in Bhagavad Gita, which talks that he quickly attains the mercy. Who is the one who quickly attains the mercy? A person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through the regulative principles of freedom can obtain a complete mercy of the Lord. So this mercy factor is a very, very important factor. And one can attain this mercy of the Lord by surrendering to Krishna. So we saw that one should surrender to Krishna. And here the prayer which is offered is a surrender to Krishna. I am surrendered unto you. I am that spirit soul who is having the similar qualities like you, begging for your mercy so that I can see your beautiful, blissful form, O maintainer, O premier philosopher, O regulative principle, or O destination of a pure devotees. I am begging for this particular prayer. I am begging for this request. So here somebody may get confused saying that Surya, like there are worshippers of Surya, Shauryas, they will see this particular verse which is offered a prayer to a Surya Dev. And that may be a confusion. But here we Vaishnavas or our Acharyas have commented saying that the Surya here is the Surya Narayan, the prayer which is offered to a Surya Narayan. So Surya Narayan is the one who gives all the all the 12 Adityas, the Suryas, different Suryas, they receive mercy from Surya Narayan, and that Surya Narayan's mercy only carries everything. Like in Brahma Gayatri, the first Gayatri which is chanted, the Gayatri mantra, if you take a literally meaning, or if you try to understand this through a Karma Kanda perspective, it talks about meditating on sun, or offering arghya to sun is a common practice which is done in India, in Sanatan Dharma. So here somebody may say that our sun god is all in all. The Surya is all in all. But here the destination of Suryas is of the destination of Surya Narayan. Because Surya Narayan is a prominent sun god who is Narayan. And that sun god receives a mercy. That sun god gives mercy to other Suryas. There are 12 Suryas, they receive the mercy. And that's why here when it is said destination of Suryas, that is Surya, it is a Surya Narayan. And that's why Prabhupada is translated as a great devotees or pure devotees. So destination of a pure devotee is another glorification, and the well-wisher of a progenitor of mankind. This is Prajapati. So the prayer offered to Prajapati. Om Prajapate Vishnu Dattvad Eta Nanyoshva. So this is again a prayer which is offered to a Vishnu who is Prajapati, who is the well-wisher or the progenitor of the mankind. So nice prayer. Again, we will read the translation once. O my Lord, O premier philosopher, maintainer of the universe, O regulative principle, destination of the pure devotees, well-wisher of the progenitor of mankind, please remove the effulgence of your transcendental rays so that I can see your form of bliss. You are the eternal supreme personality of Godhead, like unto the sun as I am. Okay, we'll understand it more better way through Srila Prabhupada's purport. Can somebody read the purport?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please go ahead.
The sun and its rays are one and the same qualitatively. Similarly, the Lord and the living entities are one and the same in quality. The sun is one, but the molecules of the sun's rays are innumerable. The sun's rays constitute part of the sun, and the sun and its rays co-jointly constitute the complete sun. Within the sun itself resides the sun god, and similarly within the supreme spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavana, from which the Brahmjyoti effulgence is emanating, the Lord enjoys his eternal pastimes as verified in Brahma Samhita 5.29. चिंतामणि प्रकरसद्मषु कल्पवृक्षा लक्षावृतेषु सुरभिरभिबालयन्तं लक्ष्मीसहस्रशतसम्भ्रमसेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the premier Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, fulfilling all desires in abodes filled with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of wish fulfilling trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis, or goddesses of fortune. The Brahmjyoti is described in the Brahma Samhita as the rays emanating from the supreme spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavana, just as the sun's rays emanate from the sun globe. Until one surpasses the glare of the Brahmajyoti, one cannot receive information of the land of the Lord. The impersonalist philosophers, blinded as they are by the dazzling Brahmajyoti, can realize neither the factual abode of the Lord nor his transcendental form. Limited by their poor fund of knowledge, such impersonalist thinkers cannot understand all blissful transcendental form of Lord Krishna. In this prayer, therefore, Sri Isopanisad petitions the Lord to remove the effulgent rays of the Brahmajyoti so that the pure devotee can see his all blissful transcendental form. By realizing the impersonal Brahmjyoti, one experiences the auspicious aspect of the Supreme, and by realizing the Paramatma, or all pervading feature of the Supreme, one experiences an even more auspicious enlightenment. But by meeting the personality of Godhead himself face to face, the devotee experiences the most auspicious feature of the Supreme. Since he is addressed as the primeval philosopher and maintainer and well-wisher of the universe, the supreme truth cannot be impersonal. This is the verdict of Sri Ishopanishad. The word Pushan, maintainer, is especially significant for although the Lord maintains all beings, he specifically maintains his devotees. After surpassing the impersonal Brahmajyoti and seeing the personal aspect of the Lord and his most auspicious eternal form, the devotee realizes the absolute truth in full. In his Bhagavad Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami states, the complete conception of the absolute truth is realized in the personality of Godhead because he is almighty and possesses full transcendental potencies. The full potency of the absolute truth is not realized in the Brahmajyoti. Therefore, Brahman realization is only partial realization of the personality of Godhead. O learned sages, the first syllable of the word Bhagavan, Ba, has two meanings. The first is one who fully maintains, and the second is guardian. The second syllable ga means guide, leader, or creator. The syllable one indicates that every being lives in him and that he also lives in every being. In other words, the transcendental sound Bhagavan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without a ting of material inability.
Okay, bro. Fine. So we'll just click once. Here, Krishna, Prabhupada is telling about the sun and the Krishna. The sun is one, but the molecules of the sun particle, sun rays, jivas, it is innumerable. So sun is Krishna, and molecules, that is sun rays, are, that is innumerable sun rays, that is jivas. Then sun rays constitute a part of the sun and its rays conjointly constitute the complete sun. As I explained about the sun, sun god, because sun planet as a globe, and the sunshine we discussed about. So within the sun resides the sun god. Similarly, within the sun, supreme spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan, from which the Brahmajyoti effulgence emanates, Krishna enjoys his eternal pastime. So Brahma Samhita is glorified here, verse number 5.29. The Chintamani Prakarasadma Sukalpruksha Saudeshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahastra Shata Sambram Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Further, there is a description about the Brahmajyoti. Until one surpasses the glare of the Brahmajyoti, one cannot see Krishna or his abode. And the impersonalist, blinded by the Brahmajyoti, can realize neither the abode nor the form of the Krishna. So it was surely expected from Srila Prabhupada to talk about Brahmajyoti or the Brahmavadis. And it's a misfortune, in fact, of a Brahmavadis that they cannot, unless and until they are not ready, they don't understand Krishna as a supreme person of Godhead, as a person. It is very unfortunate that they will not be able to understand Krishna more than a glowing effulgence. Here, the word is also used as a pushana, and Prabhupada is very nicely mentioning here the the supreme truth cannot be impersonal. This is the verdict of Sri Isopanisad. The word pushana is especially significant for although the Lord maintains all the being. So, person, it has to be a person who does the pushana, who does the pushana, who is maintaining everything. And that's why here the explanation of the understanding of impersonalism is incomplete, is explained here. Further, the level of realization, the realization of Brahmajyoti, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, uh, Krishna, are progressively more auspicious than the previous realization. Bhagavan realization is complete, while the other two are partial. So this is particular thing is explained by Jiva Goswami in Bhagavata Sandarbha, where he is explaining that Bhagavan realization is a complete realization, but impersonal realization, that is Brahman and Paramatma realization, is not complete. And that's why it's our great fortune, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are able to understand, or we are able to worship that Supreme Person of Godhead. We are able to offer our prayers, meditate, serve that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is a person. Further, the Bhagavan, what is explained here, the word Bhagavan represents infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence, all without the tinge of material impurity. So, Aishwarasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasya. This particular shloka also glorifies Bhagavan, who possesses 6 qualities. Which are those 6 qualities? Infinite knowledge, potency, energy, opulence, strength, and influence. So, this Aishwarya, which everybody desires to have, but only Krishna is the Supreme Personal Godhead who has. And one who possesses all these 6 opulences in full is Bhagavan. Bhaga means the one who fully maintains. Ga means guide, creator, and Vana means everything, every being lives in him and he lives in everyone. So this is another word which is a meaning which is explained about Bhagavan. Bha means the first one who is fully maintenance, one who fully maintains, and second is guardian, that is Bha. Ga refers to a guide, leader, or creator, and symbol Y indicates every being lives with him, lives in him, and he also lives in every being. So this is also another very nice meaning of Bhagavan. Or another meaning of Bhagavan is one who possesses 6 opulences. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasya Shriya is also a Bhagavan. Okay? Any doubt till now?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, कभी कभी मतलब डेमी गॉड्स को भी भगवान बुलाते हैं, तो वो क्यों है?
Yeah, if you study Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, some places it will come. Some places Brahmaji is glorified as a Bhagavan Brahma. Or some places even Indra is glorified as a Bhagavan Indra. Or even Narad Muni is also glorified. Some places glorification comes of Narad Muni as a Bhagavan. So here, how do we understand? Our acharyas give a nice explanation that some of the opulences, or many of these opulences, they have huge quantity. That is one way. Another way of addressing Bhagavan is respect. So if something which is completely full, and that is one Narayana, Vishnu, Krishna, who possesses all the 6 opulences in full. But other personalities, they have like Narad Muni, full of vairagya or full of knowledge, or Indra, who is a demigod, the prominent demigod, or worshipable demigod, who is a devata, the king of devatas, because he is a king of devata who possesses opulences with him, and that's why they are possessing some opulences. That's why they are called as a Bhagavan. They are addressed as Bhagavan, but that does not mean that they are themselves Bhagavan. Or this is another way of respecting. Like, this Swami is a word, or Prabhu, which is the word which we could call for a respect. Prabhu is also a word which is used for God also. That, oh my dear Lord, is also addressed as Hey Prabhu, Hey Prabhu. So when you address like that, that does not make that person. That is just a respect which is shown. So because they possess some qualities in full, or not, they possess in those qualities in a huge quantity. That's why they are glorified as Bhagavan, but they are not Bhagavan. Or another way of respecting them. So Bhagavatam, many times you will see this word Bhagavan used for other people. But when we understand who is that Bhagavan, who is that Supreme Person of Godhead, is Krishna, one who possesses all six opulences in full, which is not seen in demigods also, or any other Rishis and Muni also. Okay, bro?
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Anything else? Fine. So Prabhupada further explains about how Krishna is the maintainer of his devotees. So because we are talking about the mercy factor here, when Krishna showers his mercy on his devotees, that they are maintained. Or Krishna takes care of his devotees very much. Krishna is, though he in the seventh canto, the discussion begins of the seventh canto with the Krishna being in birth. Seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam begins with Krishna being impartial, but he's partial. He seems to be partial. So yes, he's impartial. He does not do any partiality. He provides everything to his devotees nicely. He provides everyone whatever is required nicely, but he specially takes care of his devotees, and that's how he's also called as a partial to his devotees. And that's why Krishna is the maintainer of his devotees. Here the glorification comes that, you are my maintainer, and that's what you are the son, and I am that spirit soul. So, what is that maintenance is explained further in the following discussion. Okay, please read ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please, Barbara.
The Lord fully maintains his unalloyed devotees and he guides them progressively on the path towards the devotional perfection. As the leader of his devotees, he ultimately awards the desired results of devotional service by giving himself to them. The devotees of the Lord see the Lord eye to eye by his causeless mercy. Thus, the Lord helps his devotees reach the supermost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Being the creator, he can bestow all necessary qualifications upon his devotees so that they can ultimately reach him. The Lord is the cause of all causes. In other words, since there is nothing that caused him, he is the original cause. Consequently, he enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by him, for he expands himself as the Purushas, and it is in these forms that he maintains the features of the material manifestation. By such expansion, he creates, maintains, and annihilates the cosmic manifestations. The living entities are also differentiated expansions of the Lord's self. And because some of them desire to be Lords and imitate the Supreme Lord, he allows them to enter into the cosmic creation with the option to fully utilize their propensity to lord it over the nature. Because of the presence of his part and parcels, the living entities, the entire phenomenal world is steered into actions and reactions. Thus, the living entities are given full facilities to lord it over material nature, but the ultimate controller is the Lord himself in his plenary feature as Paramatma, the super soul who is one of the Purushas. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between the living entity, Atma, and the controlling Lord Paramatma, the soul and the supersoul. Paramatma is the controller and Atma is controlled. Therefore, they are in different categories. Because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma, he is known as the constant companion of the living being. The all pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of working and sleeping as well as in the potential states, and from which is the Jiva Shakti, living forces generated as both conditioned and liberated souls, is known as Brahman. Since the Lord is origin of both Paramatma and Brahman, he is the origin of all living entities and all else that exist. One who knows this engages himself at once in the devotional service of the Lord. Such a pure and fully cognizant devotee of the Lord is fully attached to him in heart and soul. And whenever such a devotee assembles with the similar devotees, They have no engagements but the glorification of the Lord's transcendental activities. Those who are not as perfect as the pure devotee, namely those who have realized only the Brahman or Paramatma features of the Lord, cannot appreciate the activities of the perfect devotee. The Lord always helps the pure devotee by imparting necessary knowledge within their hearts, and thus, out of his special favor, he dissipates all the darkness of the ignorance. The speculative philosophers and yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on their own strength. As stated in Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, the Lord can be known only by those whom he favors and not by anyone else. Such special favors are bestowed upon his pure devotees only. Shri Isopanishad thus points to the favor of the Lord, which is beyond the purview of the Brahmajyoti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So Krishna is the maintainer. Here the word guide which comes. So previously also the word when it comes when we are discussing about this word ga, Bhagavan, in the Bhagavan mein ga, which is also explained as a guide or a leader or a creator. It's explained. So these are the qualities of Krishna. Krishna is the guide to everyone who is sitting in everybody's heart as a Paramatma, who is guiding every living entity. And he is always trying to guide all the living entities towards the progressive path of a devotional service. Then he is the leader. Ultimately he awards the desired result of bhakti by giving himself to them. So Krishna gives himself to them by living entity. When he surrendered to Krishna, Krishna completely gave himself, and that's why Krishna is one of the name is Bhakta Vatsala, that he loves his devotee very very much. Then the Krishna is being merciful. Is the most compassionate personality, and then he takes incarnates. Sambhavami Yuga Yogi, he comes every ages because of his merciful nature, and especially he's coming as Lord Chaitanya, he's coming as Lord Jagannath, who is coming out on the street, showering his mercy. Lord Chaitanya, the most merciful incarnation, Parama Karuna, Papudui Jana, Nitai Gaurachandra, that beautiful form of Krishna and Balaram, as Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are the most merciful incarnation. Sabha Avatara Sara Shiromani, Kevala Ananda Kanda, who is giving just awarding love and happiness to everyone. He is the Shiromani of all the incarnation. That Supreme Lord, who is mercifully always coming, the devotees see Krishna face to face by his causeless mercy, and thus Lord helps them reach the supreme spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. So only by the mercy of God one can see the beautiful form of Lord. Like Arjuna requested for a Virata Rupa Darshan, and when Krishna showed that Vishwarupa Virata Rupa Darshan to Arjuna, Arjuna could not bear that effulgence. And then Arjuna is requesting Krishna, oh, please show me that 400 form of yours, which is very attractive. And then Krishna showed a 400 form. And then again Arjuna is requesting, no, I want to just see that 200 beautiful, merciful, blissful form of yours. And then Krishna showed him his original 200 form. So, to see all of this, Arjuna had to have Divya Chakshu, the transcendental eyes, the transcendental vision. So, it is only by the mercy of Krishna we can see the beautiful vision, beautiful form of the Lord. We don't have an independence, we don't have any freedom, or we don't have any Shakti by which we can force to see Lord. No, it is only by the mercy of Lord. Lord will remove that glare, the effulgence in front of our eyes, and then we can see his beautiful form, and we can also see the beautiful spiritual planet that is Golok Vrindavan. So we saw Krishna is a guide, Krishna is a leader, Krishna is merciful, Krishna is also creator, that he bestows all the necessary qualifications upon his devotees for them to ultimately reach him. And Krishna is the original cause, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the original cause, he is the cause of all causes. Therefore, there is nothing that caused him. So, when it comes to example of a cause, that Krishna is the cause, original cause, I generally give this example that if there is a cat, if you are standing in a window and below there is a cat, and you have a stick in your hand, you start poking the stick to that cat. What is the reaction of that cat? Cat will immediately bounce upon that stick, thinking that this stick is the cause of everything. This stick is creating problem to me, and then that cat will fight with, or try to scratch the that stick. But who is the original cause of her pain? The original cause of the pain of person who is standing in a window, who is poking that stick to that cat. So similarly, many times people, for anything happening in their life, good or bad, they see a cause or immediate person in their life, or they see some demigod, or they see some, some other personality, but they don't go to a original source. Like Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, when it comes to explanation of Prakriti, Krishna is saying that, my Prakriti is very dushkara, and she's the one, Prakriti Kriyamanani, she is active. By what? By the three modes of material nature, Prakriti Kriyamanani, Gune Karmani Sarvasha, Ahankara Vimbudatma Kartaimi. That the Prakriti is active. So people generally see that Prakriti is the cause of all causes. But no, Prakriti is not the cause of it. She is just making you dance. But then similarly, Krishna says that who is that Prakriti? My Adhyakshana Prakriti, that Prakriti is in my Adhyakshata. She is under my control. That Prakriti, who is under the control of Krishna, is trying to control the living entities. The original cause is Krishna. So, the cause of all causes, that is Krishna. And that Krishna is enjoyer. He enjoys his own self by manifesting his own internal potency. The external potency is not exactly manifested by Krishna because his expansion, the Purusha Avatara creates, maintains, annihilates the material universe. So the Purusha Avatars does this whole thing. So when we talk about Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Karmadaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu, they are Purusha Avatars who are creating, maintaining, annihilating the whole thing. The jivas are the different expansions. Some of them desire to imitate him, so he allows them to enter the material creation to use their lording propensity. Because of jivas, the entire phenomenal world is steered into action and reaction. So because of jiva, this whole material phenomenal world is steered, is moved around with action and reaction. And that's why a jiva has different expansion, and some of them are now trying to imitate Krishna. They're trying to become a lord, or they're trying to become a Krishna himself. And this tendency of lording over everything is becoming a cause of their suffering in this material world. So Krishna is a guide, is a leader, is a merciful personality of Godhead to his devotee. And we know that devotees know that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Krishna is the creator. Krishna is the controller also. In his feature as a Paramatma, he is controller and the Atma is controlled because the Paramatma fully cooperates with the Atma. He is constant companion of the living being. And further Prabhupada is talking about only devotee can know Krishna. Bhakti, since Krishna is the origin of Brahman and Paramatma, he is the origin of all the jivas and also all else that exists. Those who know these perform bhakti. So those who know that the Brahman and Paramatma form of Krishna comes from the original Krishna, and then all the jivas are the origin of all the jivas is also Krishna. Aham bija prajapita, and that's why person who knows this performs bhakti, and by the help of Krishna Katha, one can surely hear from a pure devotee and get attached to Krishna in the heart and soul and glorify Krishna. Lord Krishna mercifully dissipates the ignorance of his devotees. Krishna completely eradicates the ignorance of his devotees. He dissipates all ignorance, darkness. And favor them by imparting knowledge within their heart. Tene Brahmarudaya Adi Kavaye. That he imparted this knowledge to Brahma. Similarly, Lord imparts this knowledge into heart of his devotees. Only such a devotee can know Krishna, and no one else can know Krishna. So philosopher and yogis cannot imagine this because they more or less depend on their own strength. So those who are depending on their own strength will never realize. For that, one has to seek for the mercy, seek for the prayer, and that's why this prayer is offered here. Oh, beautiful Lord, please let me see this blissful form of yours. And this is possible only by your mercy. Please remove these effulgence, O maintainer, O philosopher, O regulating principle, O maintainer, O the originator of the Prajapati. Please show your beautiful, blissful form. This is the prayer which is offered here. Okay. Any question on mantra 16?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, here one line is, for he expands himself as the Purushas. So, Purushas expansions means the all the Vishnu's incarnation, this means?
There are Purusha avatars, like as we will be studying this in Nectar of Devotion in the beginning. There are many different avatars of Krishna. There is Leela avatar, there is Guna avatar, there is Purusha avatar, there is Shakti avatar. In a Purusha avatar, there are three Vishnus which come. That is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Karnadaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu. Because they take care of maintenance, they take care of annihilation, they take care of uh, creation. And that's why when it is said creator or a cause of all causes, that is that Purusha avatar who is doing that, who has that responsibility of maintenance or annihilation of this material world. Okay, Madhavi?
Okay, Prabhuji. And again, the last line of that next passage, the super soul who is one of the Purushas. So means this is referred to the Paramatma feature, right?
Yes, yes. The Shirodaksha Vishnu is that super soul which is in the heart of
Yeah.
every. So who is that person?
Okay, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare bol. हाँ bro. Hare Krishna. Mantra 17.
Prabhuji,
Yes, bro.
like I just want to go through the phase of like Brahman and Paramatma and
Your
like
voice is
parts.
very unclear. I can't hear you. There's a lot of disturbance.
Can you hear now, Prabhuji?
Yes, try.
So whether one like devotee goes through the phases like realization of Brahman, then Paramatma, and then Bhagwan, like Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudarbha, like everything is constituted in Vasudeva. But whether one like goes through that phases.
Okay. So not everyone has to go through these phases. It depends on the knowledge which he receives. It depends on the mercy of devotees and Krishna. Like we have this understanding of Ahaituki Krupa, the causeless mercy. So Ahaituki Krupa is that Krupa which can directly take you to the understanding of Bhagavan. Like you are reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada is giving this knowledge that there are three aspects of absolute truth, but the topmost is Bhagavan, and then you should chant the holy name for the pleasure of that Bhagavan. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we got to know. So everybody does not have to go through this. By the mercy of devotees and Krishna, one can understand the Bhagavan feature. But when it comes to a jnani, jnani is we will be studying this in yoga ladder when we are studying Bhagavad Gita. So in that yoga ladder, this is very nicely explained that there is karma yoga, which has the two parts, sakama and nishkama karma yoga. Then there's jnana yoga. So jnana yoga, when somebody climbs up this ladder of karma yoga, jnana yoga, then ashtanga yoga, and then bhakti yoga, they have to go through a tough time. They have to go through the struggle. And in a jnana yoga, if a person is having understanding of Brahman, or whether that person has an understanding of Paramatma, or whether that person has gets the understanding of Bhagwan, makes everything clear. If somebody is understanding as absolute truth as Brahman, then and in the Ashtanga Yoga, they will only meditate on the effulgence of Krishna, and they'll enter into a Brahman. When they enter into Brahman, either they'll go up from there by the mercy of devotees, by the association of devotees, or they have to come back to this material earth. and in the material world on the earth, and again start practicing, again try to understand Lord as a Paramatma or Bhagavan. Worshippers of Paramatma also eventually has to come to understanding of Bhagavan. So everybody has to come to this understanding. When somebody is going through this yoga ladder, they go step by step and understand. Or sometimes just by the mercy of a Krishna and a devotee, somebody gets the understanding of Bhagavan. So we are those fortunate selected one who, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of Supreme Personal Godhead Krishna, we got to know the Bhagavan form of Krishna. At least I think that. Okay, bro?
हरे कृष्णा गुरु जी।
Yes, bro.
प्रभु जी, यहाँ पर लिखा है कि हम मतलब जो लिविंग एंटिटी है ट्राई टू बिकम ए लॉर्ड और इमिटेट द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, देन लॉर्ड क्रिएटेड द कॉस्मिक क्रिएशन, देन व्हाई वी आर गेटिंग एक्शन एंड रिएक्शन प्रभु?
Why we are getting external reaction?
नो नो, एक्शन एंड रिएक्शन प्रभु जी, हम कुछ करते हैं तो उसका रिएक्शन क्यों मिलता है?
Because we are trying to imitate God. We should not try to imitate God. And the imitating God, we are actually offending God. We are committing sins. Because we are not having, we don't possess six opulences, but we are trying to push, we are trying to endeavor to possess six opulences. In this possessing six opulences, sometimes we are committing sin, or we are trying to become God, or we are trying to put the value of Krishna very down. We are trying to pull him to our level. And that's why during all these things, we are offending Krishna, or we are committing sin. And every action in this material world has reaction. So that reaction will surely come because we are trying to imitate God. Okay, bro?
ओके, लेकिन प्रभु जी इधर बोला है कि हम जब वो मतलब डिजायर करते हैं लॉर्ड बनने की या सुप्रीम लॉर्ड बनने की,
Can you
वो
speak
खुद
loudly or hold your mic close? Can't hear you.
प्रभु जी यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है कि जब हम ट्राई टू बिकम ए लॉर्ड और इमिटेट सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, देन लॉर्ड हिमसेल्फ विल क्रिएटेड कॉस्मिक क्रिएशन बिकॉज ऑफ मतलब दैट डिजायर, देन व्हाई ही इज क्रिएटिंग दिस?
Lord has created material world only for fulfilling the desire of a living entity. The desire of a living entity can be anything. Like we see, there are 4 lakh human species. So, no, just we'll not focus on other species. There are total 84 lakh species. Why are those 84 lakh species? Just because of the desire of a living entity. Somebody desired to be bird, somebody desired to be fish, somebody desired to be human. In the human, somebody desired to be man, somebody desired to be woman, somebody desired to be whatever. There are some n number of varieties in human birth also. So this is the desire of a living entity. Why this desire came? This desire because living entity thought that I can independently enjoy Krishna. Independently enjoy. Why should I subordinate to Krishna? The beginning is that no desire to being subordinate to someone and being subordinate to Krishna especially. This particular desire of living entity is the cause of this material world. If somebody wants, if you are in the spiritual world, you are happy with Krishna, you will stay happy with Krishna. But if you want to compete with Krishna, you want to become God, you are telling that I don't want to be with Krishna. So that God has to create some place. Okay, living entity, you have this desire, so to enjoy. Like you say this, there's this Kathopanishad example of 2 birds. One bird is just observing, and second bird is going all around, doing a number of things, trying to enjoy this world. So there, Krishna is just observing that, okay, you have this desire, Upadrushta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta. He is observing, after observing a living entity is desiring for something, then he is giving Anumati, Tathastu, you want that. And that's why the desire of a living entity to enjoy separately from Krishna is the cause of creating this material world. Okay?
ओके प्रभु जी।
Yes.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु। Nirvana.
Yes, Lord.
Where
Yes,
the
Lord. Please ask.
all-pervading future of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping,
I can't hear you,
as
bro.
well as
Please speak.
can I hear now?
Yes, Lord.
The all-pervading future of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as in potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti living force is generated, as
Bro,
both
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you, bro.
conditioned.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, Mataji.
I think he was trying to asking actually I have the same question. The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as in the potential states, and from which the Jiva Shakti is generated, as both conditioned and liberated souls. So, Prabhuji, I didn't understand this actually.
Okay, this is last paragraph.
Yes, Prabhuji. Last paragraphs and first four lines.
The all-pervading feature of the Lord, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, as well as in the potential state and form, which is the Jiva Shakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned and liberated soul, is known as Brahman. Okay, this is the line, right? You're trying to understand?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so the Brahman is the Lord's all-pervading feature, which exists in all circumstances of waking, sleeping, etc. So Brahman is that effulgence of the Lord, which is all pervading. It is pervaded everywhere. That whole effulgence, that whole as the sun is a globe, and sunshine is everywhere. It exists everywhere. So this is first understanding. So it is either sun god is waking or sleeping. In that both the situation, when the Lord is awake or sleeping, in both the situation, the effulgence is everywhere. The Lord's all-pervading feature, which exists in all circumstances of waking and sleeping, etc., and from which the Jiva Shakti, living force, is generated as both conditioned or liberated souls. So, from the effulgence of that supreme absolute truth, that is Brahman, the living entity, like the sun shine is there, that is the Brahman effulgence, you can understand, and the sun rays come from that sunshine. So, trying to understand this particular thing from this verse. If this verse is talking about sunshine, sun globe, and sun god, and the sun rays, which are innumerable particles which are coming out, is the living entity. So similarly, the Jiva Shakti, either it is liberated or not liberated, either it is Baddha Jivatma or Mukta Jivatma. In both the states, the Jivatma which comes out of this Brahman effulgence of Lord. This is the understanding. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It means from Anadi Kal, there are souls which are in Vidya and Avidya. Both souls are there. And who attract towards material energy, they come under the material energy. And who attracted towards God, they go into the spiritual world. Is it
Yes.
right understanding?
Yes, 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 you can say it. That's right, understand.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go to verse number 17. Vayor anil amrutam athedam vastanam sharira mokratro smara krutam smara kruto smara krutam smara. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged. 1 minute. Let this temporary body burn to ashes, let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. So you are the ultimate beneficiary, and whatever surrender I have shown, whatever service I have done, please remember all of that. And let this temporary body be burned to ashes. Let the air of life, that is pranavayu, merged with the totality of the air. Now, O my Lord, Please remember all my sacrifices because you are the ultimate beneficiary. Please remember all that I have done for you. So this is a prayer which is offered, a very typical Isopanisad prayer, which comes from Vedas, which is also talking about, the art of dying when I'm leaving this body. You please remember all my sacrifices and let me remember you because you are the ultimate beneficiary. And let my air, the prana shakti, merge into the totality of air. So the Vedic prayers are like this, which is offered, which is telling God that this is how let me die. For Vaishnavas, it is very clear. Anta kalecha mameva smarana muktava kalevaram. That my remembrance at the time of death be only you, O my Lord, whenever the Antakal comes. So whenever that Antakal comes, let me remember your beautiful form. That is a prayer which is offered. Or let me obviously according to understanding of Ashtanga Yogi, let the prana shakti merges into a totality of air. That is in Brahman. That's what is said. So the previous discussion with Prabhupada had told was that all the living entities coming out of a Brahman will ultimately get into a Brahman. That is totality of air. But obviously, as per the understanding of that living entity, as per the worship of that living entity, he will attain that form of a Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Not form of a Bhagavan, but he'll attain that particular abode. So this body will surely burn, which is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta. It will merge into a Pancha Mahabhuta. It will burn to ashes, and the Prana Shakti will enter into that spiritual abode. That is the prayer. So this is the art of dying. Please read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, please read.
The temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. The Bhagavad Gita 2.2 clearly says that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated, nor does he lose his identity. The identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. On the contrary, it is the material dress that is formless and that takes a shape according to the form of the indestructible person. No living entity is originally formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. This mantra verifies the fact that the living entity exists after the annihilation of the material body. In the material world, material nature displays wonderful workmanship by creating varieties of bodies for the living beings according to their propensities for the sense gratification. The living entity who wants to test stool is given a material body that is quite suitable for eating stool, that of a hog. Similarly, one who wants to eat the flesh and blood of the other animals may be given a tiger's body equipped with suitable teeth and claws. But the human being is not meant for eating flesh, nor does he have any desire to taste stool, even in the most aboriginal state. Human teeth are so made that they can chew and cut fruit and vegetables, although there are two canny teeth so that primitive humans can eat flesh if they so desire. But in any case, the material bodies of all animals and men are foreign to the living entity. They change according to the living entity's desire for sense gratification. In the cycle of evolution, the living entity changes bodies one after another. When the world was full of water, the living entity took an aquatic form. Then he passed to vegetable life, from vegetable life to worm life, from worm life to bird life, from bird life to animal life, and from animal life to the human form. The highest developed form is this human form when it is possessed of a full sense of spiritual knowledge. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body, which will be turned to ashes, and allow the air of life to merge into the eternal reservoir of air. The living being's activities are performed within the body through the movements of different kinds of air, known in summary as pranavayu. The yogis generally study how to control the airs of the body. The soul is supposed to rise from one circle of air to another until it rises to the Brahmarandra, the highest circle. From the point of the perfect yogi can transfer himself to any planet he likes. The process is to give up one material body and then enter into another. But the highest perfection of such changes occurs only when the living entity is able to give up the material body altogether, as suggested in this mantra.
Sorry.
Yes.
You all please continue reading this purport. If this purport is completed, please read next translation and purport also. I need to go for 5 to 7 minutes in one program. One devotee's memorial is there. I just give offering and come back. Please complete this purport also and next purport also.
Okay. From that point, the perfect yogi can transfer himself to any planet like he likes. The process is to give up one material body and then enter into another. But the highest perfection of such changes occurs only when the living entity is able to give up the material body altogether, as suggested in this mantra, and enter into the spiritual atmosphere where he can develop a completely different type of body, a spiritual body which never has to meet death or change. Here in the material world, material nature forces the living entity to change his body due to his different desires for sense gratification. These desires are represented in the various species of life, from germs to the most perfected material bodies, those of Brahma and the demigods. All of these living entities have bodies composed of matter in different shapes. The intelligent man sees oneness not in the variety of the bodies but in the spiritual identity. The spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is the same whether he is in a body of a hog or in the body of a demigod. The living entity takes on different bodies according to his pious and vicious activities. The human body is highly developed and has full consciousness. According to Bhagavad Gita 7.19, the most perfect man surrenders unto the Lord after many lifetimes of culturing knowledge. The culture of knowledge reaches perfection only when the knower comes to the point of surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Otherwise, even after attaining knowledge of one's spiritual identity, if one does not come to the point of knowing that the living entities are eternal parts and parcels of the whole and can never become the whole, one has to fall down again into the material atmosphere. Indeed, one must fall down even if he has become one with the Brahma Jyoti. As we have learned from the previous mantras, the Brahma Jyoti emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord is full of spiritual sparks that are individual entities with the full sense of existence. Sometimes these living entities want to enjoy their senses and therefore they are placed in the material world to become false lords under the dictation of the senses. The desire for leadership is the material disease of the living being, for under the spell of sense enjoyment he transmigrates through the various bodies manifested in the material world. Becoming one with the Brahma Jyoti does not represent mature knowledge. Only by surrendering unto the Lord completely and developing one's sense of spiritual service does one reach the highest perfectional stage. In this mantra, the living entity prays to enter the spiritual kingdom of God after relinquishing his material body and material air. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death, with full consciousness of his past deeds and of the ultimate goal. One who completely under the rule of material nature remembers the heinous activities he performed during the existence of his material body, and consequently he gets another material body after death. The Bhagavad Gita 8.6 confirms this truth. Yam yam vapi smarana bhavam त्यजते ante kalevaram tam तमैवेति kaunteya sada tad bhavu bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Thus, the mind carries the living entity's propensities into the next life. Unlike the simple animals who... Yes,
Can
Prabhuji?
anyone else read? Can anyone else read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall I read?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Unlike the simple animals who have no developed mind, the dying human being can remember the activities of his life like dreams at night. Therefore, his mind remains surcharged with material desires, and consequently, he cannot enter into the spiritual kingdom with a spiritual body. The devotees, however, develop a sense of love for Godhead by practicing devotional service to the Lord. Even if at the time of death a devotee does not remember his service to the Lord does not forget him. This prayer is given to remind the Lord of the devotee's sacrifices. But even if there is no such reminder, the Lord does not forget the service rendered by his pure devotee. The Lord clearly describes his intimate relationship with his devotees in Bhagavad Gita 9.30 to 34. Even if one commits the most abom- abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that has my devotee never perishes. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura explains these verses in this way. One should regard a devotee of Krishna to be on the right path of the saints, even though such a devotee may seem to be Sudurachara, a person of loose character. One should try to understand the real purport of the word Sudurachara. A conditioned soul has to act for double functions, namely for the maintenance of the body and again for self realization. Social status, mental development, cleanliness, austerity, nourishment, and the struggle for existence are all for the maintenance of the body. The self realization part of one's activities is executed in one's occupation as a devotee of the Lord, and one performs actions in that connection also. One must perform these two different functions along parallel lines because a conditioned soul cannot give up the maintenance of his body. The proportion of activities for maintenance of the body decreases, however, in proportion to the increase in devotional service. As long as the proportion of devotional service does not come to the right point, there is a chance for an occasional exhibition of worldliness. But it should be noted that such worldliness cannot continue for long because, by the grace of the Lord, such imperfections will come to an end very shortly. Therefore, the path of devotional service is the only right path. If one is on the right path, even an occasional occurrence of worldliness does not hamper one in the advancement of self realization. The facilities of devotional service are denied the impersonalists because they are attached to the Brahmajyoti feature of the Lord. As suggested in the previous mantras, they cannot penetrate the Brahmajyoti because they do not believe in the personality of Godhead. Their business is mostly world jugglery and mental speculation. Consequently, the impersonalists pursue a fruitless labor as confirmed in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. 12.5. All the facilities suggested in this mantra can be easily obtained by constant contact with the personal feature of the Absolute Truth. Devotional service to the Lord consists essentially of 9 transcendental activities: hearing about the Lord, glorifying the Lord, remembering the Lord, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping the Lord, offering praise to the Lord, serving the Lord, enjoying friendly association with the Lord, and surrendering everything unto the Lord. These 9 principles of devotional service, taken altogether or one by one, help a devotee remain constantly in touch with the God. In this way, at the end of life, it is easy for the devotee to remember the Lord. By adopting only one of these 9 principles, the following renowned devotees of the Lord were able to achieve the highest perfection. By hearing of the Lord, Maharaja Parikshit, the hero of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained the desired result. Just by glorifying the Lord, Shukadeva Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained his perfection. By praying to the Lord, Akrura attained the desired result. By remembering the Lord, Prahlada Maharaja attained the desired result. By worshipping the Lord, Prithu Maharaja attained perfection. By serving the lotus feet of the Lord, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi attained perfection. By rendering personal service to the Lord, Hanuman attained the desired result. Through his friendship with the Lord, Arjuna attained the desired result. By surrendering everything he had to the Lord, Maharaja Bali attained the desired result. Actually, the explanation of this mantra and of practically all the mantras of the Vedic hymns is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra and properly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the matured fruit of the Vedic tree of wisdom. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular mantra is explained in the questions and answers between Maharaja Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami, and at the very beginning of their meeting. Hearing and chanting of the signs of God is the basic principle of devotional life. The complete Bhagavatam was heard by Maharaja Parikshit and chanted by Shukadeva Goswami. Maharaja Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva because Shukadeva was a greater spiritual master than any great yogi or transcendentalist of his time. Maharaja Parikshit's main question was, what is the duty of every man, specifically at the time of death? Shukadeva Goswami answered, Tatmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagwan Ishwaro Hari Sarvo श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च स्मार्तव्यश्चेच्छतभयम्. Everyone who desires to be free from all anxieties should always hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme director of everything, the extinguisher of all difficulties, and the super soul of all living entities. So-called human society is generally engaged at night in sleeping and having sex, and during the daytime in earning as much money as possible, or else in shopping for family maintenance. People have very little time to talk about the personality of Godhead or to inquire about him. They have dismissed God's existence in so many ways, primarily by declaring him to be the impersonal, that is without sense perception. But in the Vedic literature, whether the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is declared that the Lord is a sentient being and is supreme over all other living entities. His glorious activities are identical with himself. One should therefore not indulge in hearing and speaking of the rubbish activities of worldly politicians and so called big men in society, but should mold his life in such a way that he can engage in godly activities without wasting a second. Sri Isopanisad directs us towards such godly activities. Unless one is accustomed to devotional practice, what will he remember at the time of death when the body is dislocated? And how can he pray to the Almighty Lord to remember his sacrifices? Sacrifice means denying the interest of the senses. One has to learn this art by employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. One can utilize the results of such practice at the time of Hare Krishna.
Can anyone read 18th one? Haribol.
अग्नेनया सुपाता राये अस्मान् विश्वानि देवमय्यानि विद्वान् योध्यो अस्मज्पुराणमेनो भूमिष्ठां ते नम उत्तिं विदेम. Translation. O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all my obeisances falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you, and since you know all that I have done in the past, please free from me the reactions to my past sins so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. By surrendering to the Lord and praying for his causeless mercy, the devotee can progress on the path of complete self-realization. The Lord is addressed as fire because he can burn anything into ashes, including the sins of the surrendered soul. As described in the previous mantras, the real or ultimate aspect of the Absolute is his feature as the personality of Godhead, and his impersonal Brahmajyoti feature is a dazzling cover over his face. Putative activities or the karmakanda path of self-realization is the lowest stage in this endeavor. As soon as such activities even slightly deviate from the regulative principles of the Vedas, they are transformed into vikarma, or acts against the interest of the actor. Such vikarma is enacted by the illusion living entity simply for sense gratification, and thus such activities become hindrances on the path of self-realization. Self-realization is possible in the human form of life, but not in other forms. There are 8.4 million species or forms of life, of which the human form qualified by Brahmanical culture presents the only chance to obtain knowledge of transcendence. Brahmanical culture includes truthfulness, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, full knowledge, and full faith in God. It is not that one simply becomes proud of his high parentage. Just as being born the son of a big man affords one a chance to become a big man, so being born the son of a Brahmana gives one a chance to become a Brahmana. But such a birthright is not for everything. For one still has to attain the Brahmanical qualities for himself. As soon as one becomes proud of his birth as a son of a Brahmana and neglects to acquire the qualifications of a real Brahmana, he at once becomes degraded and falls from the path of self-realization. Thus, his life's mission as a human being is defeated. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 42, we are assured by the Lord that the Yoga Brashtas or souls fallen from the path of self-realization are given a chance to rectify themselves by taking birth either in the families of good Brahmanas or in the families of rich merchants. Such births afford higher chances for self-realization. If these chances are misused due to illusion, one loses the good opportunity of human life afforded by the Almighty Lord. The regulative principles are such that one who follows them is promoted from the platform of repetitive activities to the platform of transcendental knowledge. After many, many lifetimes of cultivating transcendental knowledge, one becomes perfect when he surrenders unto the Lord. This is the general procedure. But one who surrenders at the very beginning, as recommended in this mantra, at once surpasses all preliminary stages simply by adopting the devotional attitude. As said in the Bhagavad Gita 18.66, the Lord at once takes charge of such a surrendered soul and frees him from all the reactions to his sinful acts. There are many sinful reactions involved in Karmakanda activities, whereas in Jnanakanda, the path of philosophical development, the number of such sinful activities is smaller. But in devotional service to the Lord, the path of bhakti, there is practically no chance of incurring sinful reactions. One who is a devotee of the Lord attains all the good qualifications of the Lord himself. What to speak of those of a Brahmana? A devotee automatically attains the qualifications of an expert Brahmana authorized to perform sacrifices, even though the devotee may not have taken his birth in a Brahmana family. Such is the omnipotence of the Lord. He can make a man born in a Brahmana family as degraded as a low-born dog eater, and he can also make a low-born dog eater superior to a qualified Brahmana simply on the strength of a devotional service. Since the omnipotent Lord is situated within the heart of everyone, he can give directions to his sincere devotee by which they can attain the right path. Such directions are especially offered to the devotee, even if he desires something else. As far as others are concerned, God gives sanction to the doer only at the risk of the doer. But in the case of a devotee, the Lord directs him in such a way that he never acts wrongly. The Srimad Bhagavatam says, स्वपादमूलं भजता प्रियस्य त्यक्त्वा न भावस्य हरिपरेशा विकर्म यच्चोत्तरितं कदाचित् गुणोतु सर्वं च विसन्निष्टः. 11.5.42. The Lord is so kind to the devotee who is fully surrendered to his lotus feet that even though the devotee sometimes falls into the entirement of vikarma, acts against the Vedic directions, the Lord at once rectifies such mistakes from within his heart. This is because the devotees are very dear to the Lord. In this mantra of Sri Isopanisad, the devotee prays to the Lord to rectify him from within his heart. To err is human. A conditioned soul is very often apt to commit mistakes, and the only remedial measure is to take against such unintentional sins is to give oneself up to the lotus feet of the Lord so that he may guide one to avoid such pitfalls. The Lord takes charge of fully surrendered souls. Thus, all problems are solved simply by surrendering oneself under the Lord and acting in terms of his directions. Such directions are given to the sincere devotee in two ways. One is by way of the saints, scriptures, and spiritual master, and the other is by way of the Lord himself who resides within the heart of everyone. Thus, the devotee fully enlightened with Vedic knowledge is protected in all respects. Vedic knowledge is transcendental and cannot be understood by mundane educational procedures. One can understand the Vedic mantras only by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master. Yasya deve para bhakti yata deve tata guru. If one takes shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, it is to be understood that he has obtained the grace of the Lord. The Lord appears as a spiritual master for the devotee. Thus, the spiritual master, the Vedic injunctions, and the Lord himself from within all guide the devotee in full strength. In this way, there is no chance for a devotee to fall again into the mire of material illusion. The devotee, thus protected all around, is sure to reach the ultimate destination of perfection. The entire process is hinted in this mantra, and Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17 explains it further. Hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord is itself an act of piety. The Lord wants everyone to hear and chant his glories because he is the well-wisher of all living entities. By hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, one becomes cleansed of all undesirable things, and then one's devotion becomes fixed upon the Lord. At this stage, the devotee acquires the Brahmanical qualifications, and the effects of lower modes of nature, passion, and ignorance completely vanish. The devotee becomes fully enlightened by virtue of his devotional service, and thus he comes to know the path of the Lord and the way to attain him. And as all doubts diminish, he becomes a pure devotee. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose to Sri Isopanisad, the knowledge that brings one nearer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So the first verse number 17 we'll see the art of dying. So here the prayers which is offered by a devotee when he is leaving the body, or a jiva, not a devotee, the jiva who is offering a prayer when he is leaving this, or when he's dying, when he's leaving particular body at the time of death. So the jiva is fully conscious of one's past deed and of the ultimate goal, intention of praying jiva. So jiva is offering prayer. Srila Prabhupada explained that to transcend the body and the material to enter the Lord's spiritual kingdom. So this prayer is offered so that one can transcend the body and enter into the transcendental abode of Supreme Lord. To remind the Lord's one's sincere services, sacrifices, even if there is no such a reminder, the Lord does not forget the pure devotee's services. So a very important factor Srila Prabhupada is focusing, that Lord will always remember what a sacrifice a devotee has done, especially his pure devotee, whatever services they have done, Lord will always remember. And that's why we have to try our best to become pure and render the service with a great mood service attitude with the utmost purity. That's very important. So the Jiva is offering this prayer to enter into a spiritual abode of Lord. Jiva is offering a prayer to remind Lord for his for Jiva's sacrifices. Jiva is also, Prabhupada is mentioning, to be liberated from the material world by reminding the Lord of one's prescribed duties. So Krishna glorifies prescribed duty, Vihita Karma, in the second chapter, where Krishna is telling if somebody is performing his prescribed duties, he is pleasing to me. So the prescribed duty can be of a brahmachari, grahastha, or it can be other prescribed duties which a living entity is performing. So he is doing his prescribed duty as a varnashram, as 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. A person may do his prescribed duties. Those prescribed duties are not directly pure devotional service; they are mishra bhakti. But then, if somebody is doing that, that is a gateway to attain a pure devotional service. And that's why Jiva is also remembering that I have followed those prescribed duties which are mentioned by you. So please remember those prescribed duties also. So he's saying that please describe the sacrifices, please remember my sacrifices, whatever services I have rendered, and please remember all that I have done for you as per your instruction as a Vihita Karma, as a prescribed duties. Please remember all of that so that I can attend your spiritual abode. This is the prayer which is offered by a Jiva. So this is an appeal. Also, this Jiva is also doing an appeal to a mind. He is telling a mind, oh my dear mind, you are always, you are very strong. And the strong will of yours, with the oh mind which has a strong will, please help me remember Lord. Because my antakal, my last death is approaching me. And that's why please help me to remember the Supreme Lord, because and oh my dear mind, please remember that only which is worthy of remembering. Please don't remember anything and everything. So very nice prayer which is offered, very nice appeal has been done here to our mind also. And it is a request to Lord also, please remember all the sacrifices. Why? Because at the time of leaving this prana vayu, prana, let me enter into your spiritual abode. This is a prayer which is offered. Further, Prabhupada is talking about giving up this material body. And that is, Prabhupada is saying that this material body is just nothing but a dress. It's a foreign dress. So Prabhupada is telling here the philosophy of how we are not this body, we are soul. We will be studying this in depth in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But then this body is nothing but the outer covering, outer dress, which we need to give up at some time. And that's why one has to understand the position of a jiva, that jiva does not die or lose his identity, but the body destroys. The jiva is never impersonal or a formless. It always has a, it has a form, and it is a person. And jiva's body, Prabhupada is giving further many examples. It is like a material dress created by material nature. It takes its shape, species according to jiva's form, sense gratificatory propensities, and activities, pious or impious activities. Because of his desires and because of his pious and impious activity, a jiva attains different bodies and different forms. Prabhupada is telling somebody is interested in eating stool, he takes the body of a dog and eats stool. Or if somebody wants to eat flesh, then he gets a body equipped with the suitable teeth and claws. And human beings are not meant for eating fish or stool. So human teeth are made to chew fruits, vegetables, and there are two canon teeth so that the primeval humans can eat flesh if they so desire. So this is another explanation Prabhupada is giving about how a person attains a body as per his desire or as per his pious or impious activities. The jiva changes body. There is different living entities. They transform from 84 lakh species. They move in 84 lakh species. The transformation happens like aquatic, turns into vegetables, turns into a worm, it turns into a bird, it turns into animals, and then he attains a human body. And in the human body, whatever pious or impious activity he does, he has to again go back in that cycle of 84 lakh species. So as per his desire and as per his pious and impious activity, he'll attain again some other body. And that's why being a human, we have to understand what is our prime duty. Our prime duty is to quit this material world at the time of death, remember Krishna, and go back to Godhead. Otherwise, we'll keep suffering from different species. The spiritual identity of jiva is also spoken after explaining that how this material body is dead, it's matter, and spirit soul is a spark. The spiritual identity of that spirit soul is explained, the spiritual spark soul, which is part of Lord Krishna. In the same way, in the body of a hog or in the body of a devatas, an intelligent person sees oneness not in the variety of the bodies, but in the spiritual identity. So all the spiritual identity of all the jivas is similar. And that's why somebody may say the oneness is there, but at the same time, with the constant understanding of a desire, with the understanding of choosing things, with the understanding of their achievements, the living entity is individual. So if you see the quality of a living entities together, it is one. They have similar, Satchidananda, quality is same. But that living entity, because of his different desires, because of different. So identity of a jiva is individually also explained, and the quality of all the jivas as one is also explained here. And that's the spiritual understanding of a soul. The living body performs activities through the movements of different kinds of air within the body, prana vayu. The yogis control these airs and rise the life air to the Brahmarandra. So this is the top part, Brahmarandra. The yogis, what they do? हरिबोल मी क्लास घेतोय मी 1 वाजता फ्री होणार 10 मिनिटात फ्री होईल sorry Monday was calling regular continuously. Okay, so living body, the prana shakti, the prana vayu. The yogis, what they do is that they control all their holes, they stop their all holes, so the prana vayu does not release from those holes. And from their Brahmarandra, the prana vayu is released. And when the prana vayu released from Brahmarandra, it enters into Brahman. So that's how they control their body. And that is what the perfection of a yoga, Ashtanga yoga. And that's what the prayer which is offered here. Jiva is offering a prayer. Let this prana vayu emerges into a Brahman, ultimately enters into a absolute truth. The most perfect Jiva is not one who attains the Brahma Jyoti, but the one who, after many lifetimes of culturing knowledge, reaches to the point of complete surrender to Krishna and develops a sense of spiritual service. So we have been studying this in many previous verses. Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Attaining Brahman is not complete. Paramatma understanding is also not complete. But understanding of Bhagavan or attaining Bhagavan is a complete goal, attaining the complete goal. So consciousness of a death, at the time of death, there are different people, they have different consciousness. The materialist remembers the heinous activities of his life like a dream and consequently gets another material body after their death. So it is said when somebody is dying, in front of his eyes, all those activities which he performed for throughout his life, they come. And that's why practice of spirituality, rendering services in the temple or in the association of devotees, in chanting Hare Krishna, performance of devotional activity will be our remembrance in front of eyes. So that remembering Krishna at the time of death becomes easy. But those materialistic, they have done a lot of heinous activities and they will remember those sinful heinous activities. That is dangerous. The mind surcharged with the material desires carries the jiva into another material body, not into the spiritual kingdom with the spiritual body. So jiva transformed with the subtle body, that is mind, false ego and intelligence. So there is a gross body which is made up of matter, Pancha Mahabhutas. Then there is a subtle body which is made up of mind, intelligence and false ego. So that subtle body with the jiva transformed from one body to another body. And that's what the transformation happened. The mind surcharged with the material desire and the mind carries a lot of material desires and then travels from one body to another body. And such a mind which is full of surcharge with material desire will never enter into a spiritual world. The devotees develop love for Krishna by bhakti. Even if they don't remember their service to Krishna at the time of death, Lord does not forget it. So this is the one thing we spoke about the materialistic. Another is about the devotees. The Krishna will remind the devotee. That's why it is said, Vamanam, it is a glorification of Jagannath's Rath Yatra. That if somebody sees the Lord Jagannath sitting in a Rath Yatra and he pulls that Ratha of Jagannath's Rath Yatra, at the time of death, the vision of that Rath Yatra will come and he will remember Jagannath and the mercy of Jagannath will take him back to God. And that's why it is very important throughout our life, very consciously, very seriously, we practice our devotional service and render as much services as possible. By that, our sacrifice will be remembered by Krishna even if we don't remember. And there has been incident of many devotees leaving their body in this way. I was just speaking at one of the memorial, one of my friend left the body at the age of 40. And he got a lung cancer. He himself went to hospital 7 days before, and within 7 days he was detected with lung cancer, and he left the planet. So, but when he was here, he has rendered so many services. So Krishna will remember those services. So Krishna's infinite relationship with his devotees. Krishna says, even if my devotee commit most abominable activity, apichitsa durachara, bhajante mam ananapa, sadhu reva samantave. Krishna is saying, even if my devotee performs sudurachara, abominable activity, they are considered saintly if they are engaged in a bhakti. Apichet sudurachara, bhajante mam ananyabhag. If they are worshipping me completely with a great devotion. Sadhureva samantavya. I consider them saintly personality, sadhu, because they quickly become righteous. Well, it's very easy for them to again pick up and give up the sinful activity completely. O Arjuna, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Whoever takes the shelter of me, woman, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmana, saintly king, can attain my abode. So, always think of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. You will surely come to me. So this is ninth chapter. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaro. So there's glorification, or Krishna is saying that my devotee is always a sadhu and he always engages himself completely in worship of me. Or there is this verse of Amrish Maharaj which comes, Savai Mana Krishna Pada Ravinder Vacham Suram Punan. So it also talks about how Amrish Maharaj is also utilizing all his senses, remembering Krishna. So devotee is always busy worshipping, remembering, offering obeisances to Krishna. And ultimately he will surely come to me, Krishna is saying. He can completely overcome this material world, material energy. The impersonalist is also spoken by Srila Prabhupada here, saying that they deny the facility of bhakti because they are attached to the Brahmajyoti. They do not believe Krishna. Their business is world jugglery and mental speculation, and thus they pursue a fruitless labor. So they are putting so much endeavor, so much labor is being put, but those labors does not bring any fruit. Their activities does not bring out, it's a fruitless labor, Prabhupada mentioned. So that's why what we are doing, practicing as a Krishna conscious devotee, as a spiritualist, achieves a lot of benefit of it, achieves a lot of credits. Actually, we are gaining a lot of credits through practice of devotional service. But unfortunately, impersonalists, their endeavor go waste. Ultimately, they will have to again come back to this material, again practice bhakti and go. So Bhakti Yoga is the topmost of yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the best way of practicing devotional service. We have to practice it sincerely. One can remember Krishna at the time of death by constant contact with his personal feature through the 9 process of devotional service. So Prabhupada is explaining about the Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sakhyam, Dasyam, Atmanivedanam. By this practice of Navavidha Bhakti, Navavidha, 9 vidhis, 9 processes of devotional service, one can attain perfection. And then there are best examples of these devotees who have perfected a life by practice of this Navavidha Bhakti. For Shravanam, hearing about Krishna, it is Parikshit Maharaj. Then there is Kirtanam, glorifying Krishna is Sukadeva Goswami. Then there is Smaranam, remembering Krishna is Prahlada Maharaj. Then there is Pada Sevanam, that is serving the lotus feet of Krishna, that is Lakshmi. Then there is Archanam, worshipping the deity form, is Prutu Maharaj. Then there is Vandanam, offering prayers to Krishna, that is Akrura. Akrura's prayers are one of the best prayers in Bhagavatam. Then there is Vandanam is Akrura. Then there is Dasyam, the best servant is Hanumanji. Then there is Sakhyam, the Sakya friendship is Arjuna. And then there is Atmanivedana, that is Bali Maharaj, who is Atmanivedana. So by the practice of this Navavidha Bhakti, at the time of death, surely we will attain Krishna. Okay, further, Prabhupada is telling that how hearing and chanting of the science of God is the basic principle of devotional service. So in this Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam and Kirtanam are very, very important. Shravanam, Kirtanam acts like a base to practice devotional service. So whichever process somebody perfects, the Shravanam and Kirtanam is very, very important. It's prime most, which everybody has to. And that's why our Shravana, our hearing has to be really good. Parikshit Maharaj asked, what is the duty of every man, specifically at the time of death? And Sukadeva Goswami answered, everyone who desires to be free from all the anxiety should always hear about the glorify and remember Lord Hari. So by remembering Lord Hari, one will be perfected. One will be free from all the anxieties of this material world. Prabhupada is saying the materialists spend their night in sleep and sex, and daytime in earning money. People have very little time to talk about God and inquire about Him. They have dismissed God's existence in so many ways, primarily by declaring Him to be impersonal without sense perception. God is sentient. But the Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam declares that Lord is sentient being and is a supreme. He is the original cause of cause. He glorifies his glories, activities are identical with himself. So God's glories are very much identical with himself. One should mold one's life to engage in devotional service without wasting a second. Otherwise, one can pray to Krishna at the time of death when the body is dislocated. Means denying the interest of the sense. One has to learn this art of employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. Then one can utilize the result of such a practice at the time of death. So at the time of death, one can get the result. And that's why throughout the practice is very important. So Antakal is our final exam. And before the final exam, we have to prepare a lot so that we score well. And that preparation is from the day we received the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. The preparation starts how one can live at the time of death. So what should be the consciousness of a person at the time of death, or how to leave this particular material world is explained. How to quit this body, and while dying, what should be our consciousness is very nicely explained in this verse. And this verse talks about seeking the mercy of Lord while dying. So the art of dying is explained in verse number 17. Any question on verse number 17? Okay. So I'm completing the verse number 18 also now. So if somebody has some important thing, they can leave, but we will just complete this particular verse also discussion. We already read the translation of Prabhupada. Yes, Vijay Singh, you have some question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Why Sayujya Mukti is considered as one of the 5 types of Mukti, as there is chances of fall down from there.
Okay. So there are 5 kinds of mukti: Sayuja, Samipya, Sarupya, Sashti, Salokya. A Sayuja mukti is merging into a Brahman. Other muktis are appreciated. They are not. But then one enters into a Brahman because the Brahman, there are no activities to be done. A Jiva cannot be inactive. Jiva also always perform activity. And that's why Jiva is Swarupa Krishna Nityajas. That Jiva is a servant of God. What is the duty of a servant? Servant is like, immediately coming to a master and saying, Master, please engage me in your service. Please give me service. That is a prayer which we offer to by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. O Radharani, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. So Jiva cannot be inactive without service. He will always be there doing service. But in the Brahman platform, the Sayuja Muslims, there is no service. Person is just, you are put into a room which is completely white. You are given a white clothes to wear, you are given white food to eat, white plate which will come in front of you. You will get irritated and you don't have any activity to do. You're just locked inside. A person will get irritated, frustrated, you go crazy. So similarly, a jiva there will not be satisfied. So if he gets association devotees and they explain about the Paramatma form, Bhagavan forms, I'll talk about a Golok Vrindavan, the beautiful spiritual world, he gets attracted, he starts practicing, then he may arise. But then many jivas, they have to come back to this material world on the earthly planet. And then they have to again restart many things. So that's why Sayuja Mukti is not very much appreciated by Vaishnava Sampradaya. Though it is a part of a Mukti, it is not very much appreciated by especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And Gaudiya Vaishnavas don't run behind Mukti. Gaudiya Vaishnavas, if they attain, if they get by the mercy of Krishna, if Krishna desires, if they accept. The goal of a Gaudiya Vaishnava is to render service to Krishna eternally. Wherever Krishna, in whatever way Krishna wants to put me, I am ready. That is the mood of Gaudiya. Okay, bro?
Yes, but so it should not be put in the 5 types of Mukti then. The meaning of word Mukti itself is not fulfilled.
Brahman is a platform which is a part of spiritual world. Brahman is what? It's a Kanti. It's a effulgence of Lord. Because Jiva is not satisfied, Jiva will again come to practice Krishna consciousness. But it is not that everybody has to come. There will somebody will receive a mercy of a devotee, some remembrance of by Krishna, by which they may also rise. There is not that everybody has to come here. And that because that's a part of a spiritual world. The Brahman effulgence or Brahma Jyoti is a part of a spiritual world. So it is effulgence. It is not when Brahma Jyoti is condemned. Please understand this very important factor. The three aspects of absolute truth, that is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, is a spiritual aspect of Supreme Lord. When Prabhupada is condemning Brahma Jyoti, that does not mean that Brahma Jyoti is useless. Brahma Jyoti, attainment of Brahma Jyoti also needs a lot of sacrifice. It also needs a lot of attention. Attaining Brahman platform is not easy. Also, attaining Brahman platform is attaining the Supreme Lord. But then, unfortunately, because of lack of knowledge, they cannot worship the Supreme Lord as a person. So, entering into attaining a Sahaja Mukti or entering into a spiritual world in the Brahman is also in the, as a Kanti of Lord, as a effulgence of Lord is no less. And that's why it's a part of a Mukti. Okay, bro?
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go to verse number 18. So here the prayer which is offered. Oh Lord, please remove all the obstacles from my path of devotional service. Please remove all the obstacles in attainment of you. Please destroy all the sin. Purify my heart. That is a prayer which is offered. The translation is.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have another one doubt also, Prabhuji. Like one who attends this Brahman, Brahman stage now, Prabhuji, there is any chance to fall down for this miserable world, Prabhuji, after attending this Brahman liberation, Prabhuji.
After attaining Brahman liberation is attained because of the incomplete understanding. Okay, so if somebody gets a complete understanding of Bhagavan, he will rise. If somebody does not get, Prabhupada many times writes, a person in a Brahma Jyoti is not satisfied, and that's why he has to come back to earthly planet and again restart his practice of devotional service. So that person will again come to material world, practice and go ahead. Okay, bro? But then when he comes, that fall down is not the fall down of a living entity who is suffering in 84 lakh species. He will get a human birth and he will get an opportunity for rendering services. He will get an opportunity to practice devotional service.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Because Lord is very merciful. He has done a lot of sacrifice. Attaining of Brahman is a lot of sacrifice. So Lord will always remember that sacrifice also.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So verse number 18, last verse of the discussion. O Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisances, falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I have done in the past, please free me from all the reaction to my past sins so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. So here the prayer is offered. Here God is glorified as a powerful as fire, who is omnipotent, who has multiple potencies, so many potencies. And he's telling that I offer my obeisances falling on the ground at your feet. So our obeisances are offered at the feet of Lord, who is a personal form of the Lord. And he's saying that all the please take me to the right path. And please know all that I have done in the past. Please remember all that I have done in the past to please you. And then please free me from the reaction of our sins and remove that hindrance from my life. So here the prayer is say, purify my heart and remove the sins, remove the obstacles from my life. Okay. So God purifies us considering one's previous sins and becoming anxious about attaining liberation. The devotees address Lord as Agni, the purifying power of a fire, comes from Lord. So there are many Agnis. There are 12 prominent Agnis. In that 12 prominent, the main prominent Agni is Vaishnava Namagni, which is also the Agni. There is a personality called Agni Deva, that is fire god. But then that Agni Deva, the prominent Vaishnava Namagni, is that Agni, which is nothing but a Vishnu. And then this form of the Lord, Agni, is the one who will be awarding liberation. And that's why here it is said that the purifying power of a fire comes from the Lord. That purifying power of a fire that comes from Lord. So if somebody wants to purify something, they need to put it in the fire. Like if you want to purify some metal, it's better to put into fire. It's purified. And that purifying power of Lord comes from a purifying power comes from Lord. So here the prayer is, please purify my heart. And that's why that personality, Agni, is remembered here. That please purify my heart, oh God, please purify all of us, please purify me. The realizing the Lord is possible only by bhakti with a suitable knowledge and detachment. So the Prabhupada is so only by the bhakti one can understand how to detach, how to be detached. Attaining self-realization quickly and gradually. The surrender and prayers for a causeless mercy are the means to progress on the path of self-realization. Obstacle karma kanda is the lowest stage on the path of self-realization. Even a slight deviation in the Vedic rules act against the interest of the actor, becoming vikarma. Such a vikarma enacted by the illusion jiva for sense gratification becomes hindrance on the path of self-breath. So somebody is doing some karma kanda. First of all, the reason behind doing a karma kanda is the sense gratification, gratifying or trying to be free from the anxieties of the world. And that's why karma kanda is not very much appreciated by Vaishnavas. But then this karma kanda, if something is done wrong, that will be considered as vikarma. Vikarma is forbidden activity, mistake. And that's why for that, he will have to suffer. And that's why that is also one of the obstacles. That karma kanda is obstacle. Performing this karma kanda is obstacle. Or, sometimes the knowledge also can be obstacle. Jnana karmadi anavrutam. When the pure devotion service is glorified, it is said it is free from jnana and karma. So this kind of karma kanda is free, or the knowledge which is not taking close to Krishna, that is avidya, which also the bhakti, by the practice of bhakti, you will be free from jnana and karma, this kind of knowledge and this kind of activities. And that's why please remove these obstacles from my path is the prayer. Human life is qualified by Brahmanical culture, gives a chance for self-realization. One becomes Brahmana not by the birthright, but by the qualification, including truthfulness, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, knowledge, and the faith in God. If one becomes proud of one's Brahmanical birth, but neglect to acquire Brahmanical qualification, one is degraded and fall from the path of self-realization. So one should not be proud of what he has, otherwise he will fall from the path of devotional service. So in the human life, one has to know not by the birth, but by the qualities, guna and karma, by the activities, person attains a Brahmanical culture, Brahmanical qualification, and that helps to be a human. Eventually, we have to develop this Brahmanical qualification. We have to develop Sattva Guna in our heart. It should transform eventually into Shuddha Sattva. While doing all these things, oh Lord, there may be a lot of obstacles. Please remove those obstacles. Further, Prabhupada is talking about Yoga Bhrashta. This is explained in verse number 6 chapter 41-42 verse talks about Yoga Bhrashta. Suchiram Shmitam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta. There are Yoga Bhrashta who attends the birth in a family of aristocrat and a pious people. And so there are chances because of the mind, there are chances of person getting deviated from the path of devotional service. But there is no loss in the path of devotional service. If he has performed a devotional service in the remembrance of Krishna, he will take birth in the family of an aristocrat people and pure pious people. And with that, he will attain perfection. So if somebody is, so please remove this kind of obstacle also, that I may become a yoga brashta. Please help me, O Lord. So this is a prayer which is offered, that please remove obstacles, please help me, please purify my heart. Gradual process, one follows the regulative principles, is promoted from the platform of fruitive activities, karma to knowledge, jnana. After many lifetimes of cultivating knowledge, one becomes perfect when one surrenders to Krishna. So, with the help of knowledge, one can surrender more and more to Krishna and perfect his life. One who is fully surrendered to Krishna at once surpasses all the preliminary stages simply by adopting the devotional attitude. Lord at once takes charge of a surrendered soul and free him from all sinful reactions. Sinful reactions are many in Karma Kand, but a minimal is Jnana Kand. But in Bhakti, there is no change of a spiritual sinful reaction. There is no chance of a sinful reaction because a devotee attains a good qualification of a God himself. What to speak of those of a Brahmana? So, Brahmana is one who is pure, but the Vaishnavas are more pure because of their contact with God, because of their contact with Krishna. And that's why Vaishnavas are considered much higher than other four Varnas. So better than Brahmana. So Lord is glorified here as omnipotent. That means his multipotency. And that omnipotent Lord has performed many pastimes. And then this omnipotent Lord, what he does is guides a devotee. So purifying, the Lord can purify anyone, everyone. He can make a dog eater superior to a qualified Brahmana simply on the strength of a bhakti. So this is the glories of bhakti. By the practice of bhakti, one can, even a dog eater, the Chandalas can also become a great devotee of Krishna and attain Krishna. So this is the power of Bhakti Yoga. Spiritually within the heart of everyone, he can give direction to his sincere devotees to never act wrongly and attain the right path, even if desire something else. For non-devotees, God gives sanction to the doer only at the risk of a doer. So Lord is Anumanta. He gives Anumati to every desire of a living entity because the living entities are adamant. But in case of a devotee, he gives them the right understanding, what to choose, what not to choose. Or, he is the one who gives them a clear understanding what is the right desire. And he inspires them within. And that's why the Lord is very dear to his devotee, and devotees are very dear to Lord. But if that is not the case with non-devotees. Non-devotees, whatever sinful activity they want to perform, they may get a yes or sanction with the proper knowledge. Even if they want to still continue, they suffer. So it is with the risk of a doer, not because of the sanction of the doer. Even if the surrendered devotee sometimes fall into a vikarma, action against the Vedic, the Lord at once rectifies such a mistake from within their heart. So this is explained in glorified in 11th chapter. The surrendered devotee, even if he commits a mistake, but again he surrenders to Krishna wholeheartedly, completely, Krishna forgives his sin. Because to err is human. That's the same. That every human being will surely commit some mistake. And that's why what mistake is committing, how grave it is, that is accepted, and that devotee is given remembrance of Krishna. So Krishna will always remember us, and Krishna will never forget us. A conditioned soul often commits mistake. The only remedy against such an unintentional sin is to give oneself up to the Lord's lotus feet, so that he may guide us to avoid such a pitfall. The Lord takes charge of fully surrendered souls. Lord is very caring, very loving, and that's why Lord takes the full charge of his pure devotees. Thus, all problems are solved simply by surrendering and acting in terms of his direction. So, whatever problems we have, we completely go if we surrender to Krishna, because it is Krishna who will take care. मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तुम्हारी is the surrender of a devotee. Ashlishava padaratam vinashtumam is the surrender of a devotee. And then Krishna will take care of all his needs. So there are Krishna's two way of Krishna's directing a person or protecting a person. One is through the saints, scripture and spiritual master. Or one another is from the Lord himself from within the heart. So Lord is situated in heart as a Paramatma. Through Paramatma, he will give a right direction and protect a living. Or he will always protect a devotee through his devotees, protect a surrendered person through his devotee, or through the scriptures and through spiritual master. So Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, this triangle we have to always remember. They are the protector, they are the guider, the guiding force. They will show the right direction. Or another way is by the mercy of the Lord, he will inspire within the heart to a living entity. And this is a caring nature of Supreme Lord. He is very caring, that he wants all the jivas to get free from the clutches of material world. And that's why he sends his devotee, he sends a scripture, he sends a spiritual master, that is Guru, or he himself within the heart as a Paramatma inspires a jiva to surrender to Krishna more and more. And that's why we should go and preach and assist Lord in his mission. By the grace of Guru and Krishna, a devotee is fully enlightened with the transcendental Vedic knowledge that cannot be understood by the mundane educational procedure. Yes, Deva Parabhakti, Yatha Deve Pratha Guru. By the Krishna's grace, one takes shelter of the bona fide Guru. Thus, a protected devotee does not fall again into the mired material illusion and is mere material illusion and is sure to reach the ultimate destination of perfection. So everybody can attain. One who is surrendered to Krishna, one who is protected by a Krishna will surely attain, and he will not degrade from the perfection. He will surely attain the perfection and does not degrade when does not degrade in the path of perfection. And that's why what one has to do is focus on hearing and chanting Krishna Kirtan and Krishna Smaran, Krishna Shravan and Krishna Kirtan. These are very, very important acts. So Krishna's glories cleanses all undesirable things. Devotion becomes fixed. Effects of passion and ignorance are vanished. Enlightened by virtue of bhakti, knows the way to attain Lord, all doubts diminish and become a pure devotee. So all the doubts are gone and person becomes a pure devotee. And this is a merciful nature of a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And he is very, very, very merciful. The devotee becomes fully enlightened by the virtue of a devotional service, and thus he comes to know the path of Lord and way to attain him. Or as all doubts diminish, he becomes a pure devotee. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of Sri Isopanisad, the knowledge that brings one near to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. That knowledge will bring close to Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we will stop here. Thank you all very much. Sri Isopanisad ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So you have any announcement? Is it there, Satyavrata? Okay. So we'll stop here. Thank you, Prabhu. Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Isopanisad ki jai.